They had been friends for 11 years when Celine noticed that she didn't have to perform in Nadia's presence. This arrived not as a realization, but as a sensation, a feeling of ease. She became aware of one evening when they were sitting on Nadia's kitchen floor eating leftover pasta out of the pot because neither of them had wanted to deal with plates. They weren't talking about anything important. Nadia was saying something about a man in her office who heated fish in the microwave every single day with no shame or self awareness. And Celine was laughing with her mouth full, which she would not have done in front of almost anyone else. And at some point, she became conscious of her own body, relaxed, unguarded, taking up all the space it needed, and thought, oh, so this is what it feels like when you're not managing anything. 11 years. They met at 22 in a city neither of them lived in anymore, at a party neither of them had wanted to attend, standing near the same bookshelf in the way that people who don't know anyone at a party stand near bookshelves for the cover of having something to look at. Nadia pulled out a novel and said, without an intro, have you read this? And Celine said, twice. And that was that, more or less. They lived in the same city for three of those 11 years and in different countries for two of them, and in the same country but different cities for the rest. They went through the things people go through over 11 years: jobs lost and found, a death, two moves, one bad relationship each that the other watched with the helpless tenderness of someone who can see exactly what's happening and knows that saying so wouldn't change anything. They went 8 months without speaking once, not from any rupture, but from the exhaustion of lives that got suddenly full. And when they finally got on the phone, Nadia said, I feel like I just saw you. And Celine said, I know, and didn't mention the 8 months again because there was nothing to mention. This is what she was thinking about on the kitchen floor, pasta going cold, Nadia still talking about the fish. Every day, Nadia said. Salmon. The whole office smells like a harbor. Does he know? He must know. He has to know. Maybe he thinks it's fine. It's not fine, Celine. I'm just saying, from his perspective. There is no perspective from which daily office salmon is fine. Celine started laughing again, and Nadia pointed the fork at her in mock fury, and outside it was raining, and the kitchen light was yellow and warm, and there was nowhere either of them needed to be for several hours, and Celine thought, this thing, this is one of the best things. There are people in life who require something of you every time. Not badly, not with any malice, not even consciously, but their presence activates a version of you that's slightly more composed, more considered, more careful about the impression you made. You leave them feeling good, often, sometimes seen, but also kind of tired in the way of someone who has been holding a position for a long time without noticing. And then there are the long people, the ones in whose company you forget to manage yourself, where the laugh comes before the thought, where you say the unfinished thing, the half formed thing, the thing you haven't figured out yet. And instead of explaining yourself, you just say it. And they receive it, not as a confession requiring a response, but as ordinary speech between people who have agreed without ever discussing it to tell each other the truth. This kind of friendship is not built, it accumulates layer by layer, year by year, through many ordinary hours that seemed unremarkable at the time and turned out to be everything. The shared meals that were occasions, the phone calls that started with, I have 5 minutes, and went for 2 hours, The silences that stopped being uncomfortable so gradually that neither person can remember when it happened. Do you remember? One of them says, and the other says yes before the sentence is finished. This is not telepathy, it's just time. What strikes her now on the kitchen floor is not the duration of it, 11 years, which sounds significant, but is really just what happens when you don't stop, but the quality of it, the texture of being known by someone who has known you through several versions of yourself and has not at any point required you to be consistent, who watched you become someone your 22-year-old self would not entirely recognize, and loved you not in spite of the change, but straight through it, the way weather moves through a valley, taking the shape of whatever it finds. More pasta? Nadia says. Obviously, says Celine. Outside it's still raining. The light is still yellow. There's nowhere to be. And this is one of the best things. It bears repeating. It bears saying out loud to the people it applies to while you're sitting on their kitchen floor, while there's still time, while the pasta is still warm enough. Tell them tonight if you can.